Come on.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
So, do you think that enough precautions are given to teens to know how to protect themselves when it comes to sex?
I mean, precaution is always good, like, even if it isn't for sex. I think it's always good to just take that extra mile to actually protect yourself. And like I said, no matter what situation, especially with sex, because you never know if you're going to have an STD or you get pregnant. If you're going to school, that could really mess things up for you.
So, do you think that in, like, let's say your high school, do you think you were given enough information and tools to practice safe sex?
Yeah, somewhat. My school actually, they briefed us a lot on sex ed, and they do it during gym. We have our own sex ed class, give us pamphlets. They've actually been doing it since middle school, so I think it's good that they're starting to bring it back more earlier on kids, like in earlier schools.
So, do you always practice safe sex?
Well, I don't have sex that often, but yeah.
So, okay, see what I'm the video is about how I think that people take risks with their lives. And I know a lot of friends, or my own friends who will not be named, but they are always rolling the dice. So, and I think it's more, I think a lot of people say they practice safe sex, but they don't really. And a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm removed from it, I'm kind of invincible, nothing's probably going to happen to me. And so they feel like they don't always need to protect yourself. Why do you think people take the risk? Like, what's the point?
I guess for men, it's mostly to certain dominance, I think. And personally, I wouldn't roll the dice. Like, I would do protection because I feel like I'm doing good in my life. Why ruin it with like a couple of extra seconds of just wrapping your tool?
So, do you always practice safe sex?
90% of the time.
And in the 10%, what made you take the risk?
I mean, well, I was in a relationship where I trusted her and she trusted me, so I
And so, had you guys been tested beforehand?
yeah, you tested me.
And everything was great. So now, did you ever think, or wonder in your mind, like maybe she could be sleeping with other guys? Maybe you think about it.
Slightly, but I really trusted her, so.
So, would you recommend that even people in a relationship should still protect themselves?
For sure, yeah, for sure. Because anything is possible nowadays. So she always gives us advice.
This is crazy.
So, why do you think that teens are so prone to having unprotected sex?
First of all, it feels better without the condom. I would think so.
Are you speaking from experience or just
Experience.
okay?
It feels much better, and it's more intimate. You're feeling it. You're in it. You want it. It feels good. Yeah.
So, how well did school, like sex education, health classes, prepare you for sex?
It don't. I feel like it cover too many things. Like it needs to be bold. Let it all out. Explain everything. It don't. It just give you a little pinpoint there, pinpoint there, pinpoint there. It don't. Kids want to experience things, so they sit in and yeah, but they saying it's like this. They need to tell the kids what's sex. What is it all about? That's what I think.
So, what did you not learn from your sex education classes that you would have liked to have known?
Oh, they didn't tell me it was going to be addicted. They did not tell me that. It's just sex is a beautiful thing. I'm sorry, it is. It's really a good thing, but it's not always a good thing. Keep that in mind.
So, how well did your parents at home, did they talk to you about sex, birds, and the bees at all?
That didn't help. I'm sorry. That did not help at all.
So,
Because number one, they tell me not to have sex. When you tell a child not to have sex, they're going to do it. That's the number one thing. It's better if you tell a child, don't do it because this and that. But the minute you tell a child, don't have sex because I'm going to kill you, you're getting violent. She's going to do it. You have to be, first you got to be a mother and a friend with your child. You have to get a child to really trust you, to come and say, Mommy, I did it. That's number one. You can't scare your child into not having sex. Because at the end of the day, they're going to do it. You have to have that bond with your child. That's what I did.
So how old were you when you first had sex?
16, bad, very bad.
That's
I wish
bad?
I waited.
You wish you had waited?
Yes.
Were
I
you
did.
safe?
It was. It was very safe. I did not want to get pregnant. I didn't want to have any STD or HIV. And until this day, it is very safe, girl. Do not. I haven't had sex in 3 months. It's hard. Really hard.
So from a gay perspective, how do you guys take precautions as far as safe sex?
Basically, yeah, if we're with a girl, like we have to make sure that we know her like background, we know that she's clean. You know, like if it comes to like like oral or anything like that, you gotta make sure that she doesn't have any past like diseases or something like that. So you have to know your partner. Basically.
So how often do you guys get tested? Like, have you been tested?
No,
Can I ask how many sexual partners you've had?
just to one.
So are you planning on getting tested in the near future?
I was thinking about it. Yeah.
From a straight perspective, why do you think so many people have unprotected sex?
Because it feels better. I mean, I wouldn't personally know because I don't do unprotected sex. But yeah, I only had sexual relations with 2 people, and so they were all protected. But from what I hear, people say that it feels better without the violence.
Okay, so do you practice safe sex?
I don't have it. I don't do it. It's just
You don't have sex at all?
I don't have sex. I mean, I guess I would consider myself more of a romantic. I'd like to be in a relationship before I have sex because sex does involve a lot of trust. And there's a lot of shit going around. There's a lot of bugs, a lot of diseases, crabs,
So why do you think that people take risks with their lives?
Temptation. People have urges that need to be fulfilled. I don't think that a lot of people really know about the risks that are out there.
So do you think that schools, like science classes, health classes in high school and even middle school need to do more to prepare kids to be ready for these
You know
things?
what? I think they do have their classes. They do have like health classes and stuff like that. But they don't teach. They only teach heterosexual kids how to have safe sex. They don't teach gay kids how to have safe sex. When I was in junior high school, they didn't teach. Well, I wasn't out in high school, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they need to teach a sort of general sex education.
So what would you have liked to have known that you were not taught? You said they don't teach sex ed for gay kids, so what would you have liked to have known?
Everything there is to know about anal. I mean, beforehand, when I lost my virginity, it was sort of just like we just poked around in the dark, just like really awkward, and just how to be safe.
So do you think that health class should be something that's required? Do you think health class should be something that's required for freshmen? Because I didn't have health until senior year, and if you look around the classroom, I'd say about 60% of the class was sexually active, maybe not like full-on sex, but there was some fluid exchange going on. And something enough that they need to be taking a class. It's true, they need to be taking the class earlier.
Right. Yeah, I think that plays a big role in it because, like you said, by the time senior year comes, like everybody's high school career is pretty much over and they pretty much already engaged in intercourse.
And you say you don't remember hearing
I don't remember
about health at all.
Health class. I remember speaking about the drugs and like the needles and blah blah blah. But I really don't remember the sexual aspect. I don't remember speaking about condoms. I don't remember any of that. So I don't even think it helped me very much because I have no memory of it.
I also think some teachers might be a little uncomfortable. Like the teacher I had was completely full, just ready to answer any questions, which was great. But some other people had a more conservative teacher, and he was just like, I'm not discussing it.
Right. I think that's how my teacher was because I didn't remember.
And he just didn't want to talk about it, and he was just like really uncomfortable. Okay, but see, now you're hindering people's lives. Okay, how often do you practice unsafe sex?
I would say 0% of the time I never did.
You've never had, have you ever had a girl want you to be unsafe?
Yeah,
And what was her reasoning for it?
we didn't have a condom.
Oh, and you didn't feel like running down to the Rite Aid?
Yeah, it was late.
And what did you just end up not doing anything?
We just did other stuff, like, you know, she like and stuff. I was satisfied.
And with that, you're the first person to mention oral sex. Do you think that it's okay to not be? A lot of people seem to think that that's like okay to kind of not have a barrier when it comes to that. Do you think that that's okay, even though it's still like you're ingesting fluid?
I mean, yeah, there's still a chance that like she might have like something weird like gonorrhea or something like, but like you gotta trust the girl on that part. You know, like, I mean, you know, if it's your girl, I mean, yeah, it's like some random like, oh, like, nah.
Had you guys been tested for STDs?
No.
Did you ever bring it up to want to be tested?
No.
So why risk it?
It's a good question. I should probably get tested.
How many people have you slept with?
Not too many, like 10.
And do you know how many people, the 10 people you slept with, have slept with?
Probably.
You don't have anything to say.
Okay, you 4 ladies, do you always practice safe sex?
Yes.
I'm abstinent.
And you're abstinent.
Okay, interesting. Yes.
Like, you've never, ever been unsafe.
No, I have too many pregnant cousins to even think of that.
So do you think that the school system, the education system, does enough to prepare kids about having safe sex, or do you think that what you learned about sex is basically from off the street?
I never learned anything about sex, but in school. I never learned anything in school. Like, yeah, friend-wise, but not in class.
So did you find that what your friends told you before you actually, was that true, or it was like bullshit?
Well, I talked about it in like this church at Will Temple that I go to, and they have this whole conversation where like they're fornicators, so they start talking about it, and they start saying why they got pregnant, or like they were like, oh, it just happened. But how could something just happen like that? If they're usually like safe and protected.
So do you think, wait, go ahead.
No, you ask.
Oh, I was going to say, did you think that religion is a reason why kids are just not, because I went to a Catholic school all my life until I went to high school, and so in high school I had friends who went to Catholic school, and then my public school friends, and all of my Catholic school friends did everything before my public school friends. Like, they were drinking first, they were smoking first, they were fucking first.
It's not that they're freaks. I believe as children, like us adolescent teens, when they have an authority figure telling them what to do, they want to do the opposite. So they're more pressured. They feel like they should do what they shouldn't. You know?
And also, like, Catholic schools and some private schools, they teach abstinence. They don't teach sex education at all. So do you think that should be required?
When I was in high school, they used to give out like free condoms and lube everywhere. So everyone was like,
In high school, where was this?
Okay, I know there was lube because I used to have a gay friend and he used to get lube all the time. Okay?
Wow.
So everyone, it wasn't like that. Huh? I know, but it wasn't. I never knew that. It wasn't like that big of a deal, like in school. So people didn't feel like they had to sneak around, I guess.
And only because in our high school, the majority of the girls get pregnant. We even had daycare centers.
Did you go to LSE?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We went to high school like right by LSE.
Oh, okay.
That's why we know that. But you guys used to kick our asses in
saw
sports. Yeah, but there were pregnant girls in our high school too, and we went to a really small high
I'm
school.
pretty sure like LIC was like out of all, like you put 10 girls, and like I bet you like 7 of them were pregnant.
It was ridiculous, the amount of pregnant.
So why do you think that is? Since you guys say they gave out condoms, lube.
Well, okay, 4 of the girls that I know that were pregnant were because their parents were like always keeping them locked up in their house. So whenever they got out, they basically
Just went crazy, just banging all over town.
Yeah. Well, and also, one can argue is that because they promoted safe sex, they're like, oh, it's okay to do it, and then they would, give it out. So
I
it
think
could be that it could be like, oh, it's okay to do it, and then they just do it.
I think that's one of the arguments too, that people are saying, well, if we give them condoms, if we give them lube, if we tell them how to do it, they're gonna go do it. But I think the bigger thing is that like humans are sexual beings. They're gonna do it anyway, but they might as well know how to protect themselves.
I think
And
it's because a lot of people in our school didn't, like we never really had like sex ed, so a lot of people didn't know that they had condoms, like in the nurse's office or anything. So they just go fuck around and they get pregnant without anything.
A lot of times,
I can't curse.
also there's this level of ignorance among students, especially in high school, because they don't realize that if they're doing it, they don't use protection, it will be detrimental towards them. Because I remember there was this one student, he didn't know that his semen creates babies.
so, why do you think teens are so prone to have unprotected sex?
Because they're stupid. And they're not scared of getting pregnant nowadays. Everyone's getting pregnant. It's assholes. Oh, and because the government pays if you have a child. Oh, that's true.
So, in our high school, did they prepare, because you weren't in my health class, but did they prepare you sex education?
Yeah. They do, but people don't listen because they're idiots.
So, at home, like your parents, like your mother and father, did they prepare you?
Yes.
And you felt like you were well equipped?
Yes.
So.
And because my mom said that if you get a baby, you're keeping it. And you're raising it. And you're working.
Did your parents talk to you about safe sex?
No, I think they kind of already trusted that.
Even when you were younger?
No, wait. My mother, sometimes.
And what did she say?
Don't ever open your legs for a man. Make sure he treat you like a jewel. It's a diamond. We cherish it. No.
Did she really sound like that?
No, she sounds worse. That's what she said.
So do you feel like you heard her and you heard the values and you practice it?
She didn't have to tell me to know. I know.
You know everything, huh?
Yes.
So you just got condoms in your bag, huh?
No, I'm team abstinence.
So why are you lying? You choked on your lie.
I swear I'm telling the truth.
Why?
Because no, I'm really just not my thing right now.
Why?
I'm young, I'm working, I'm in school.
You don't want to get caught up?
My time.
You don't want to get caught out there?
Nah, I can't be like some people are now.
I don't know who you throwing shade at over here.
Yeah.
So, all in all, you feel like most people should just what? Should they abstain?
Resist temptation.
So, your health classes in the past, like science classes, sex ed classes, did they prepare you well enough for sex education?
Yes, but I feel like they were later on in life when they should have probably been earlier, because not me in general, but like a lot of teens, they start having sex younger. I work with kids and I hear a lot of stories about them like in being sexually active. So I think that kids in like 7th, 8th grade should start learning about it then and take one like every year to just refresh their mind what problems can occur if they're not safe.
So did your parents talk to you about sex, safe sex?
My mom talked with me about sex when I was younger, but I was probably in like 5th, 6th grade, so I really wasn't comprehending a lot. But now that I'm older, she also says like just make sure you're safe, like you don't want to, you're not coming home with a baby, I don't want you coming home with STDs, like stuff like that. She'll like drop little hints here and there.
So how do you think parents should prepare to talk to their kids about sex?
I think that there should be like a class for like parents to take to like teach their kids how to implement it at home. Yeah.
So all in all, you think people should wrap it up and stop playing games with their lives?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't be silly, wrap that willy.
I can take it like a pro, you know, do a long